first question that's going to be discussed is the list three things that you like about Carthorne's speech and explain your answers with relevant examples. One of the first things that I found, really great about Richard's speech was that it was filled with a lot of enthusiasm and determination to explain to his audience about how he manages to deal with his own personal problems, stress, and workloads every single day. I think this is a good way of presenting because it shows that he's just like everyone else who is struggling with handling like a lot of tasks, even though he has become successful himself. I think this is a great way to bring the presenter or the speaker down to the level of the audience, so that the audience will be able to sympathize with the presenter and the presentation. Secondly, I enjoy the way he uses images behind him when during the presentation, but doesn't like stay turned around to like fully like envelop himself in the pictures. He always and like how he always faces towards the audience and makes sure that that he has everyone's attention. I also find it neat that he doesn't stay in one place like while he's standing on the stage, because I think that people tend to drift away from the presentation or the speaker if they're just standing still and is not moving around or showing emotion and how they're presenting their presentation, like with either hand motions or with like the depth of their voice. And lastly, I enjoyed how he explained the quotes and models that he lives by throughout his life. I think that this gives the audience like a way that they can also live by these quotes and models, so they're able to strive for success themselves, or for them to look for their own mottos and quotes that they can strive by for themselves. I think that's a really great thing that he incorporated into his speech. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. Secondly, the second question is define and provide examples for audience demographics. Why is it important to analyze your audience before preparing a speech? Audience demographic refers to the distinct characteristics of the audience that you are presenting to. These characteristics can be age, gender, religion, ethnic background, class, sexual orientation, occupation, and education of the audience that you are presenting for. I think that this is important, very, very important, to analyze, because before like you're giving a speech to your audience, so that you can fully understand what your audience is interested in and what they may like not want to discuss, or what they may be feel offended by when it comes to specific topics in your presentation. Because I think the last thing that someone wants to do as a speaker is present something to an audience that the audience may feel offended by or disrespected by, and then they have to deal with the backlash of the audience, and it ended up maybe ruining their reputation, which is very like demoralizing. Thirdly, the last question: what are your pet peeves regarding ineffective ways to presenting seeing presentation as previously used? I think one of my pet peeves concerning ineffective ways of using presentational aids is when people use insanely expensive objects to show the audience. I feel like this method is like really bad, because to me it just seems like the presenter just wants to show off an expensive item that they have obtained and rubbed it in the audience faces. Because they don't really, if they don't show any methods of how to obtain this item, I think it's like really demoralizing in a way. Secondly, I find it horrible when a speaker tries to guilt trip their audience. For example, if someone tries giving a presentation about like losing weight, and then the speaker talks about how the audience needs to like put down the McDonald's burgers that they're eating every day and start only eating fruits and working out until they drop dead. I find that to be like very overkill and enthusiastic, because it only seems to only be calling out the negatives of the audience and not like looking towards their positives. I find it more appealing in a speech when the speaker relates more with the audience, saying, yeah, they also like McDonald's burgers and everything just as much as anyone would, but they try to make sure that every time that they eat this meal that's unhealthy for them, that they put more work into their workout routine, and that they're able to stock up on more fruits to snack on rather than junk food. I think that this is the more effective way to sympathize with the audience rather than just like ridicule them about their habits.